Guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue with the area model today. So today's area model is going to look very similar to what we've already done with a few differences in it. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at how to do it again, make sure that everything makes sense. Today's problems, though, are slightly different than the problems that we had yesterday. So first problem we're going to take a look at is what 36 times 45 is. Okay. So difference between today's problems and yesterday's problems is yesterday we were always doing something times a one-digit number. When we look at it today, we're looking at multiplying something a two-digit times a two-digit or a two-digit times a three-digit. So when we do this, we're still using the area model, so we're still going to set one of these as the length and one of these as the width for our rectangle. Now the difference is now I can't just put one number on the side. So I'm going to break both of these numbers down by their expanded form. So I'll put 36 over here. So that would be 30 and 6. Okay, so that took about that long. And then along this way, it's length. We're going to have 40 and 5. Okay, so there's my numbers. This is my big, large model that we're finding the area for. So we had 45 times 36. So works the basic same way that we did before. We have each of these little boxes. We're going to find the area of those by looking at what the length and the width of each of these boxes. And then off to the side when we're done, we'll add up all these individual areas and it'll tell us the area of the whole thing, which is what 36 times 45 is. So in this first box, we would be doing what's 40 times 30. Notice how I used a slightly different multiplication symbol there. So 40 times 30, a little bit more complicated than last time. So 4 times 3 is 12. Now, I can do it off to the side and show it to you, but we'll do this later on or in office hours. So just knowing that, like we did before, I've got two zeros here because I'm multiplying by groups of tens. I'm going to end up with them here as well. So I've got 1200 altogether. Over here, I've got 30 times 5. So that's 3 times 5 is 15. And since it was in the 10 spot, we've got this 1 0 for 150. Now that takes us down here. And this is where sometimes kids get lost. So taking a look, this is the width, so 6. The length of this piece right here is 40. So I'm doing 6 times 40. That would be 240. And then my last box over here has a width of 6 and a length of 5, making 6 times 5, which is 30. Now, when it's time to add up and find the total area, I have 1,200 plus 150 plus 240 plus 30. Now, when I do this, I do try and make sure that whatever has the most digits is at the top, but I don't really worry about whether it's the actual largest number. So like when you look at between these two, it didn't matter which one I put 150 or 240 first, as long as they're all there. And realistically, it doesn't matter if I had 30 up at the top. I just personally like having the ones with the largest amount of digits at the top. It just makes more sense in my brain. So when we add these, I've got 0. Let's see, that's 9 is 12, carry the 1. So that's 3, 4, and 5, 6. And then, of course, 1 plus nothing is 1. So the total area of this shape was 1,620, which means 36 times 45 is 1,620. Okay, so that's one example of how to do a two-digit times a two-digit using the area model. If you wanted to expand it a little bit farther, we can do things like a three-digit, 215, times a two-digit, 64. So now, still works the same way as before. Me personally, I still like having the least amount of digits going up and down vertically. So I'm going to put 64 over here. So I've got 60 and 4. So that is my width of this shape. Now, the length of it altogether is going to be 200 plus 10 plus 5, or 215. I break it down. Here we go. I've got this piece, and now it's time to find the area of this shape. All right, so in this first box, I have 200 as a length times 60 as a width, which is equal to 12,000. Over here, we've got 60 still as our width and 10 as the length. 60 times 10 is 600. Over here, still 60 as a width, but now we only have a length of 5. 60 times 5 is 300. Down on our bottom, now our width has changed. Our width is 4 for all three of these. So 4 times the length of 200 is 800. 4 times the length of 10 is 40. And 4 times the length of 5 is 20. Now I have 6 numbers that need to get added. If that's too overwhelming for you, you can just add the top 3 and then add them to the bottom 3 and then add those 2 pieces. But if you're writing your things out carefully, there's not really a reason that you shouldn't be able to do this. If the trouble you're having is lining them up, if that's your problem, if you're doing it in your notebook like you should, the trick to lining things up in a notebook is to actually turn it sideways and use all of those little blue lines to help you put 1 digit in each line. It keeps everything nice and straight. But if you've had enough practice, you should probably be able to line these up correctly. So 0, okay, 4 and 2 is 6. Let's see, this is 11 and 6 is 17. Carry the 1, making 3 and 1. So my end answer is 13,760. So 215 times 64 is 13,760. Okay, so we have new problems for you to try out today where you're going to be multiplying 2-digit times 2-digit and 2-digit times 3-digit. If you struggle at all, please make sure you're coming to office hours. Remember, as always, the answers to all the questions are on the slides, so check them as you go. If you're not getting it, don't just keep doing it wrong. Come and talk. Ask questions. We want to make sure that you know how to do this so that we can move on to partial products next. All right, so hopefully that'll help out, and I will see you all again tomorrow.